We're here with head baseball coach Jason Burke. A season sweep of Young Harris, came in as number 11 team in the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association, number 17 in Collegiate Baseball Magazine. What was the message to your guys coming into the series, knowing that you're going against a team that could not only pitch very well, but also had a very dynamic offense as well?
Yeah, I mean, the message to the guys all week was, we're going to play to our strengths and we're going to try to take advantage of some of their weaknesses. We felt like looking at them statistically that, we could hopefully make their infield make some errors with putting a lot of balls in play. We felt like some wild pitches, pass balls would come into play just looking at their stats. Other than that, there weren't a lot of holes in their stats. I mean, you're talking about leading the league in stolen bases, leading the league in batting average, leading the league in HPPs. Pitching-wise, their Friday guy was undefeated coming into the year. So we knew we'd have to kind of grind it out on him. And really, we honestly, we tried to take away the stolen base from them just by pitching guys that are really quick to the plate, that do a good job holding runners. And I don't think they got a stolen base all weekend on us, which was huge. They're a great team. They're a great team. There's a reason why they're ranked number 11. There's a reason why they came into the weekend number 1 and, still have a shot to win the league. Very well coached. A lot of power throughout the lineup, a lot of speed, and they've got some really good arms. Our guys just played a very good weekend, and we played well versus Francis Marion on Tuesday as well. And, hopefully we're getting hot at the right time, and, some guys are starting to click. And, we pitched the crap out of it this weekend. I told our guys if we held them to 5 or less every single game, we'd sweep. We went 5, 5, and 4 and got 3 wins.
Going 4-0 at home during a week isn't exactly a very easy feat, especially when you have Young Harris. You have a strong Francis Marion squad who is putting up 20 wins now in Conference Carolina. You kind of touched on it a little bit. The pitching staff this week was just spot on. The starters did their job, and then the bullpen came in and just shut things down. If you don't mind just kind of talking about a couple guys. Obviously, Game 3, Zach Pellegrino with a 3-inning save just shut down any chance of a comeback for Young Harris. Tyler Overholt as well. I mean, this pitching staff has just looked amazing the last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, we've added some pieces back from injury, and Alex Moore's done a phenomenal job of just continuing to preach to the guys. Let's get our best stuff on the plate. Let's make people hit us. Bennett Nance and Pelly did a fantastic job of that today, of just putting their stuff on the plate and making them hit us, not giving them hardly anything for free. And shoot, man, yesterday, I mean, we went, redshirt freshman, sophomore, redshirt freshman for the entire game. And all 3 of those guys have really, really good stuff. And now they're learning how to pitch. They're getting outings under their belt and really learning how to pitch. And then, Nick Foray, the last 3 starts has been phenomenal. He didn't start the year the way that he wanted to, was battling through some things. And now he's getting healthier as the year goes on and throwing the baseball better and better. And, what a great time for the pitching staff to be clicking like they are.
We've talked about him a couple times throughout the last couple weeks, but Lucas Martino, probably his best overall performance on just the entire week. He hit about, I think, north of 400, if not north of 450. The power was there. You saw the speed. Obviously, in Game 3, he had the triple, but he also had a home run, a double. What's it mean seeing him go through what he's gone through this year and kind of his arc up until now?
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch. I mean, he sat there earlier in the year, just being a really good teammate, and our guys, had his back, is the best way to say it. And, man, he's on fire right now. And, what a great thing to have him hitting behind Connor Droz. You give the PBC Freshman of the Year from last year some protection like that, where they're like, man, I can't pitch around him because then I've got to pitch to Martino. That's how a really good lineup's constructed. And, you and I joked right before we turned the camera on, our lineup right now goes sophomore, freshman, sophomore, freshman. So it's a very good 4 that's very young, that hopefully with more and more ABs can keep getting better and better, and we can keep getting deeper and deeper in the lineup.
You talk about Connor Droz, and he's walked 7 times. I think he got hit by a pitch, but what's the message to him as a coach, as a staff, knowing someone who has the power that can consistently barrel up balls if they're left over the plate, but what's the message to him to, keep him focused, keep him engaged, knowing that teams aren't exactly going to pitch to him, even when there's someone like Lucas Martino behind him the fact that he's able to draw out those free bases and, give guys behind him chances to produce runs with him being involved.
Yeah, I mean, we've been preaching it all year, just pass the bat to the next guy. And, again, it's easy to say that. It's not easy to do that. I think early in the fall, Droz was pressing a little bit, thinking, hey, I've got to go from being the PBC Freshman of the Year to being an All-American. And, we just brought him in the office and, told him, hey, man, like, you don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to carry the team, and we got lots of good players that can hit behind you. And Martino and Manriguez and Wilder this weekend were the three behind him. And when he takes his walks, he trusts those guys. And shoot, we had an alumni come by practice Thursday, and he gave the same message. He was like, man, we were so good here because, we trusted our brothers behind us. It didn't matter if his name's Connor Lewis, but it didn't matter if I hit the home run or somebody else did. We trusted the next guy. And, again, that's been our motto all year is just pass the bat to the next guy.
You talk about the guys behind Droz, behind Martino, and one of them, Gary Garrett, I think he hit 500 exactly this past week. What's it like? We've talked about him being very comfortable in that 8 and 9 role. He's hitting close to 300 on the season, obviously 500. I think he had about 7 hits, which would be about 14 at-bats. But, him being able to consistently, get those hits, whether it's extra base hits or just singles, had a couple walks. He had a big hit by pitch in this series as well, depending on what side, of the plate you're looking at. But also a couple stolen bases. He's just phenomenal out in center field as well. Just covers light pole to light pole out there. If you don't mind, just kind of talking about his week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super proud of Gary. Gary, came in here and he had some tools, but he wasn't really ready to jump in there. And he was a defensive replacement early in his career. He'd go out there in the 8th or 9th inning and play a lockdown center field or left field, depending on where we needed him. And offensively last year he had his struggles. He couldn't get going, and sometimes he was in and out of the lineup. And then we were like, well, we're just going to leave him out there, and we're going to have the best center fielder in the league defensively. And man, this year he has worked his tail off. Him, Coach Stanek, and Coach Buckley have just, put in tons and tons and tons of time to get him where he's at. And he's super coachable. He wants to be good. He wants the team to win. He's a leader out here. Man, he's been phenomenal for us this entire season, but he has really turned it on the last couple of weeks and had a phenomenal week this week.
One last player, we talked about it during the post-game game 2, but Oliver Zone, another player that, didn't exactly have a lot of playing time his freshman year, but given the chance to shine this year, he's really turned it on at times. A lot of speed out in left field, good contact, obviously a handful of doubles, had that big home run in game 2 that cleared the fence, and obviously the guys went nuts for that. But, the outfield has really shined this year, not only offensively, but defensively as well.
Yeah, I mean, Zone's been phenomenal. He's a great leadoff hitter. You look at the stats, and he's got a high batting average, but, he takes his walks and he takes his HPPs. He's got a very, very high on-base percentage. His walk-to-strikeout ratio is very, very good. He sees a lot of pitches. Like he's obviously a smaller dude, so it's kind of hard to throw him strikes sometimes, I think. And, man, we love him in the top of the order. I feel like we're best when he's there. And he does a great job, like I said, of being a spark plug and getting things going. And, man, super thankful to have him in the top of the order.